Hello, everyone. It's Sybil Starr here to give an update on the Gemini full moon lunar eclipse that is happening on November 30th at 1:29 a.m. Pacific time. It is at 9 degrees of Gemini. I think it's like 8:38, and we just take it up to the next degree. It is a penumbral or partial eclipse, so only a small portion of the moon will not be illuminated, and it can be seen in many parts of North and South America, Australia, and parts of Asia. As I said, a lunar eclipse always happens at a full moon, and so it makes it a supercharged full moon. And we know full moons really activate the emotional body. And many nurses and, or let's put it this way, emergency rooms, police stations, they will tell you at full moons, things are much more active. I know I often am on call, and when I know it's a full moon, I'm on call for a hospice, and things are just often a lot busier at the full moon. But eclipses, what are they? So the eclipse happens when the shadow of the earth comes between the sun and the moon during this full moon. And they often bring things to light that have been hidden. Eclipses are harbingers of change. They bring change, and lunar eclipses are very specific to personal and relationships. Often bring relationships into focus. But things can also happen in the outer world eclipses because they are harbingers of change. And so Gemini, this is in Gemini, and Gemini is very much about information and communication. And so it seems as though there may be some information coming to light that has been hidden. And being opposite the sun, which is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is very much about our beliefs. And so a really good question to ask ourselves, if something does come up, either in the outer world, on the world stage, or in your own personal life, if some new information comes to light, and it is, do you believe what you see, or do you see what you believe? Because our beliefs are very much coming into question at this eclipse, because Gemini asks us to be open-minded and to be open to whatever comes in. It's about developing critical thinking skills. Gemini asks us to develop some objectivity to get past our beliefs, so that our perspective can grow, because Mercury in Gemini is also very much about our perspective. And as times of shifting and changing perspectives, there's something very unique happening at this lunar eclipse. The fixed star, Aldebaran, I have a hard time saying it, is at 9 degrees of Gemini, and it's what's called one of the royal stars of Persia and the Watcher of the East, and is often associated with, I believe it's the Archangel Gabriel. And Gabriel, of course, is a messenger. He brought the message. And so there are messages coming through that are important right now for us to pay attention to. But Aldebaran always brings with it the integrity and truth, that it offers success if whatever it is aligned with integrity and truth. It's about the integrity of our word. I feel like that is something really important. Sometimes that's the most important thing. When we give our word, we need to know it's standing by integrity, it's standing by truth. And so really watching also what we say, what information we share, is it true? And the sun at 9 degrees of Sagittarius is lined up with the fixed star Antares, which is another royal star of Persia and the Watcher of the West. And this is in the tail of the Scorpion, and it's a very red star. And what it brings with it is intense focus, and it can attract confrontations and challenges. It brings in passionate points of view and can indicate behind the scenes power games. So it certainly indicates that there may be some hidden information on the world stage that comes to light and may challenge our point of view or perspective and or our integrity. But like I said, it does not have to be on the world stage. It can certainly happen in our personal relationships. The key is our personal points of view may be challenged by the universe to open up and maybe see more broadly and a bigger picture. And Antares also asks us to dig deep, that if we have some new information that does show up, to dig deep below the surface, to not automatically decide that it's true or it's not true, to really do some dig deeping, or excuse me, some dig deeping, dig. Digging deep. What I'm trying to say. All right. Also with Gemini, ruling this or this eclipse in Gemini, we're getting so many teachings around our thoughts, and that thoughts create form. And so it's so important to watch our thoughts and see where they go. And our mood influences the quality of our thoughts. And we know we're in really challenging times right now, and many people are going through challenging times. And it's just important to remember that, worry is a prayer to create something we do not want. Where we focus our thoughts is what we actually create in our lives. And Sagittarius, the sun being in Sagittarius, brings in the attitude of gratitude. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and it's very much about how the attitude of gratitude changes everything, including our mood, and thus the quality of our thoughts. And I know myself, I can be worrying, be in kind of a challenging place. And when I sit down and start counting my blessings, everything changes. My heart opens, the worry leaves, and I can look at the world from a different perspective. And, many native traditions, they start their morning praying to the sun, saying, thank you, Grandfather Sun, for showing up again today, and saying their prayers at night, thanking Grandfather Sun for being here all day, and the light and the warmth and the life force that Grandfather Sun is bringing. But there's so many other ways of saying thank you, and just saying thank you. I just say thank you all day long, and I know that it really helps shift my mood. And the last thing I want to talk about here is, how are we communicating in our relationships? It's so important to be aware of that. And with the focus on our thoughts and our communication, it's so important to, before we speak, to ask, is it true? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Okay. Now, there's a Uranus-Venus opposition at this same time. Now, it's in kind of a strange aspect pattern, but it does impact this full moon. It's this lunar eclipse full moon. It's Uranus is in conjunct the sun, and Venus is in conjunct the moon. And like I said, it's not so much difficult as it is strange. Okay, kind of an energy. And what this really brings up to me, of course, one is, once again, the communication in our relationships, and that Uranus opposite Venus can bring disruptions in our relationships that can happen suddenly. We could have a friend who was here one day and gone the next, and you just sometimes don't even know what happened. And also too, Uranus opposite Venus can make strange bedfellows. And as they say, adversity and politics both make strange bedfellows. We might finding ourselves making alliances with those whom you never thought you would have connections before. And also, new and unusual people can also suddenly come into our lives. So there is a relationship focus, and is kind of a disruptive kind of an influence, but it can also be kind of exciting too. Mercury, the ruler of Scorpio, is sextile all three of those Capricorn planets. Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto are still in Capricorn, and they make a nice aspect with Mercury. And Mercury in Scorpio is very much the detective, wants to dig deep, just like with that Antares, dig deep to find the truth. But in aspect to Saturn is also bringing in censorship. And we know censorship is at a really big high on the internet and all kinds of places. And I'm going to say we even find our friends, you know, censoring us. We're actually censoring each other, kind of with, you know, so anyway, so being aware of that so that we can be open to all points of view. And it's so important to remember that, you know, one side isn't all right and the other side all wrong. They all carry kernels of truth and kernels of things that are not so true. Now, there's something really significant happening too, not at this eclipse, but into December. Jupiter and Saturn go into what we are called the anaretic degrees, or the 29th degree, the very last degree, and they're of a sign, and they're called degrees of fate. And they usually bring with them some challenge, like a parting gift of a challenging teaching. And of course, you know, Saturn in Capricorn can very much bring limitation and restriction. You know, follow the rules, whether or not they make sense. Kind of an authoritarian kind of a squeeze could be happening. And Saturn is it does bring in limitation. And it's when we feel kind of squeezed and tight, is this Saturnian feeling. And one of the things it brings with that is fear. We could see some increased fear and anxiety during this time as Saturn is really bearing down hard. And what I can recommend is to breathe. You know, breath is our friend. Whenever things get tight, you know, when we're afraid, we stop breathing. And so really check your breathing. Are you breathing? If you're not, take a deep breath, and actually it moves the energy through. It moves that fear through. It will alchemize it, and it will pass. Capricorn also brings in common sense. There's just some common sense responses to things that are happening in our world. It brings in maturity, which is, I think at this point in time, is an ability to look reality in the eye and make thoughtful choices. It's like when we can really look at our personal situation and see, you know, what is happening. And when we can, like I said, look reality in the eye and call it out what it is, it helps us make choices. It helps us make better choices. Saturn, I heard this really wonderful quote, and it really applies to what these three planets in Capricorn: Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. And Saturn is accept what is. Pluto is let go of what was. And Jupiter is have faith in what will be. And what will be is there is some new energy coming in December that's really significant. On December 21st is the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius. Aquarius is a much different energy than Capricorn. Saturn and Jupiter meet every 20 years. And they set the spirit of the age, the zeitgeist of the age. And it is a real energy shift. And it's not just for 20 years, because it's really about putting one big foot into the age of Aquarius. And so this is really significant. And I'm going to be talking more about that in the month of December, because I'm actually having an event to celebrate and to usher in this energy, which I'll tell you about at the end of the video. So the things I think that are most important to remember at this time, or to the energy that is coming in, is that there is new information coming to light, which may challenge your beliefs. Be impeccable with your words, for they may be challenged. New friendships and alliances may be made, while some old ones may suddenly disappear. Thoughts create, and there is an opportunity to become aware of the quality of our thoughts. And I want to close with a question, and I found this really fascinating. Did you know that fear and gratitude cannot exist in the same time in your body or in your brain? Right. And so that is another way to shift when you find yourself in anxiety, worrying about the future, is to sit down and count your blessings, because fear and gratitude cannot exist at the same time. And I've done this, and I absolutely know it's true. It really shifts things. And the question is, which state of being do you choose for yourself today? All right. So if you like this video, please subscribe, like and subscribe. And just another reminder, I'm having an event. It's called Aquarius Star Portal, Gateway to the New Age, happening on December 21st. It's about 60 to 70 minutes, a combination class and meditation to usher in this new energy of the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in Aquarius, and this new Aquarian energy. And you can find out more about this on my website at www.sibylstar.com. Be sure to spell my name correctly. That's Sibyl. All right. Thank you and have a wonderful day.